Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining on this surprisingly temperate Friday in December. I'm trying to pull out the bigger words today, not working for me, but it is my distinct pleasure to welcome back one of School to Career's favorite presenters, Ms. Khamara, is it Shahidah-Turner?
Yes.
Okay, Khamara Shahidah-Turner. In addition to many, many other things, which I had to cut out of the bio because it would have taken out the entire presentation time, works with the Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration. We have lots of fun at all of the local events, schmoozing and sharing fun pictures. But as much as I enjoyed that, I enjoyed this even more. So with no further ado, so I don't waste anyone's time, I'm going to pass it off to Ms. Khamara so that she can start telling you about the wonderful opportunities with the Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration. So with that, everybody please give a warm and friendly School to Career welcome to Ms. Khamara.
Hi, Ms. Khamara.
Hello, hello. Trinity, correct? I can't see all of the names, but I think that's nice to meet you. I'm happy you're able to join us today. And
nice to meet you too.
Yeah, and that you mentioned that you weren't feeling well last week, and it is really important to take that time to, take care of yourself, even if that means, missing a work or school event or self-care. I feel like we've learned over the past 2 years is the primary thing. So I'm really excited to be here. So as Jeremy mentioned, I'll get to talk to you all a little bit about the college admissions process, but also the PAC program or Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration. So what I'll do is tell you all a little bit about myself, and then I'd like to hear from you. It's going to be a pretty interactive presentation, so a chance for us to hear everyone's voices. Although I have done some presenting over the years, I still like to hear from everyone in the room as much as possible. So you'll hear about me, I hear about you, and it'll be more of a conversation if that's okay with you all. But again, my name is Khamara Turner. I work at the University of Pittsburgh with the PAC program or Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration. I am a Pitt alum, also currently enrolled in school. So I know what it's like to kind of be with you all and transitioning from the virtual classroom to in-person classroom, and sometimes kind of a combination of the two.
Before you finish.
I'm sorry?
I said I have a question before you finish.
Sure.
Were you at prep a couple weeks ago for like a Pitt thing? And it was like with all the Black kids?
Yes, I was at prep for the AAAC.
Yeah, okay. I remember you there.
Well, nice to see you again. And you'll get to hear a little bit about the same program. So hopefully at the end of this presentation, I'll see you at the next PAC session, because I don't recall seeing you there. So maybe, there was some information I didn't include then. I'll make sure to cover it now. And here's another chance for you to ask any questions that may arise. But again, I'm at the University of Pittsburgh with the PAC program. My primary role is working with any access initiative that the Office of Admissions participates in. So that is the PAC program, and sometimes sometimes our PPS Scholars program, and then just some various community events and partnerships similar to the event that the alumni AAAC hosted at University Prep. So in my role, I work with the back end logistics of the program, working with developing the curriculum for the PAC sessions, which are the bi-weekly sessions that we offer virtually. I also work with the PAC students who are currently at CCAC. So students who are either in their first or second year with the intent of coming through the PAC pathway and transitioning to the University of Pittsburgh. I also work with with the admissions committee when needed. In a previous role with the office, I was an admissions counselor, so I can still hop in and help make those admissions decisions. And the really good thing about keeping up that skill is I'm able to answer any admissions questions that students may have and really be an active participant in sitting side by side and helping students complete the PIT application. And I'm able to stay aware of kind of what's happening in the admissions world in general. So what I would like to do and to hear from you all is if you have a phone or if you want to open up another tab and go to www.menti.com and then type in the code that's on the screen. I'm gonna move this, and it is 78078817. And I just typed it in wrong. 78078817. Okay. So the first kind of get to know you question is what 3 emojis describe how that is grammatically incorrect. Which 3 emojis describe your thoughts and feelings about college? And feel free, Ms. Carla, Mr. Jeremy, to participate if you would like. Could be how you
I did it on my
currently-
computer. I have to do it on my phone. I don't have emojis on here for some reason.
Yeah, they do have some reaction buttons, but they're not, it's not the wide range of emojis that you have.
Mhm.
On your- Okay, some
Yeah,
excitement.
I was doing it on the computer first too, and I was like, wait, this is limiting my vocabulary if I don't have emojis. So
I love that we can tell full stories using only emojis. It's a language in and of itself, and it's pretty fun. Okay. The fun thing is always trying to interpret them.
Right.
So we have some excitement. I think the middle one is possibly the nervous smile or either the really excited smile, and then like mind blowing. If anyone would like to unmute themselves, we have a pretty small group and explain. I'm more than happy to hear. I'm hoping this is for the 4th one, middle with the party hat. I'm hoping we're talking like, oh, I'm so excited about college, and maybe not necessarily only looking toward the parties, but that's
No,
part of
don't take it like that. Like, because college has like a lot of parties.
Okay.
Ms. Khamara, we're still seeing the PowerPoint. I don't know if you were trying to share
Oh,
notes. I think you may have to stop sharing and then reshare and select that.
here we go. Can you see now?
Yeah, perfect. There it is.
Thank you. I do wish Zoom would have that and that
Yeah,
you could see.
Agreed. Yeah, mine is
Okay.
the second one, the one in the middle on the top. So
Okay.
I thought it was very exciting and worth celebration. I thought it was very anxiety inducing. And at times I felt like my head was going to explode.
Fair.
But it
All
did,
fair.
head intact.
Anyone else? I was the first one. I was really, really nervous about at first I didn't really understand kind of how the process of applying to college, and a little bit overwhelmed by the choices, and I waited a lot later than some of my peers. And so I felt like I felt like I was trying to play catch up. And then I just was really nervous. I went to school really far from home initially my freshman year of college. And I didn't really love that institution for various reasons. And I came to the University of Pittsburgh my sophomore year, and that's where I graduated from. And I truly did enjoy my experience there. So it ended, really happy. No one else wants to share. We'll jump to the next question. Okay. And it's just a scale. So based on these statements, rank whether you strongly disagree with this statement or strongly agree. So the first statement is, I've completed all tasks relevant to my post-secondary plan. So that's be it applications, both for the school as well as any additional scholarships you're looking for, the FAFSA application, your promise readiness, and more. Looks like we're really certain about our post-secondary college and career plans, which is really exciting. And the one with the lowest ranking at this point, we're doing a bit of fluctuating, is knowing how we're going to pay. for post-secondary education. Would anyone again like to kind of expand upon why they ranked where they fell? It's looking pretty positive. Like we're pretty prepared here, and it's completely fine if you're all ones and not really knowing where to start, not knowing kind of what to do. That's fine. That's what we are all here for, to support. But if you are like ready to go, acceptance letter in hand, full ride in hand, the bags are packed, that's exciting as well. All right. I'm going to jump back. Okay. Can you see my screen with the PowerPoint?
No, it looks like you're still on Menti.
Oh boy. A
A
lot of back and forth. Okay. Well, it's great hearing from you all. It looks like we kind of fell somewhere in between, and feelings are there's some excitement about the college process, some feelings of nervousness, and all of those feelings are valid, and there are many supports in place to kind of help you all get to the other side of that scale, which is making sure you have that checklist complete and you feel completely prepared and ready to go. Make sure you have an understanding of all the different financial resources that are available to you, to try to make college as affordable as possible, and free is also a possibility. And then to just make sure you feel all set. But before we can even get there, it's also really overwhelming in trying to make the initial decision of where to even apply to college, or to know how to locate those resources. So what we'll do in this presentation is kind of two parts. We'll go through some things that you all can consider to try to narrow down that list. There are over 4,000 colleges in the United States alone. And so some things for you to think about, and think about what's important to you to kind of narrow down that list to help make that decision. And then we'll go through the actual admissions process, because you'll need to complete those applications. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration, or PAC program, and how we can come alongside you to help you with making that decision, even if it's not ultimately the PAC pathway. So in terms of the college search and selection process, we'll talk about kind of where to look. Again, those key factors to think about, and then how you can get connected with the institutions that you are, you've narrowed down that list and you decided that this is where I potentially want to go. You have maybe your top 5 choices or so, and then thinking about how to stay connected with that institution between the application and hopefully acceptance process, and then enrollment or matriculation. And of course, we'll talk about the application process in general. So I wanted to give you all just there are many, many places for you all to look and learn about different colleges, but I wanted to talk to you all about just some of maybe the larger ones and kind of what they are most useful for, what students have provided this feedback to me. So in terms of just looking at that long list, it used to be a really big book about the size of a phone book that I'm pretty sure no one has in their home anymore. But there used to be books with just literally thousands of colleges and the majors they offered. And you all can much more easily sort through these things online, although I'm sure some of your counselors still have those books in their offices. But if you go to the College Board website, it's a great place for you to kind of get a big picture about many different colleges, and just kind of start putting those pins on a map, so to speak. But in terms of maybe doing a little bit more narrowing down, so maybe you have, say, even 50 colleges or 30 or 20 colleges, and now you're thinking about rankings, the Princeton Review is a really great place to go to see kind of how these colleges compare in different areas and what they're ranked for. The U.S. News World Report list is also a good place where you can go and compare the different institutions that you are interested in. So maybe you're looking for, the school with the best major or top 10 major that you're looking to study, or you might specifically be looking for schools that have a good research opportunity or have a good reputation for job placement after graduation. Whatever it is that you are looking for that is important to you, it's a good chance for you to go and make those comparisons between the institutions that you're looking at. And then one thing for certain is how you're going to pay for your 4-year degree. And we're going to, we strongly encourage students to look into scholarships beyond just the FAFSA. And even your local scholarships as well. So I know many of you, your PPS students should be aware of the Pittsburgh Promise. There are many scholarships through locally based organizations as well. But one thing I like to point out to students that they're not usually aware of is Raise Me. And Raise Me is a scholarship database, and the students, I'm sorry, it's not a database. It is a tool where students are rewarded for things that they've completed 9th through 12th grade. So it's an opportunity for you to earn money, and it's based on things that you've already done. So that can mean taking your rigorous courses that your high school offers. So if you're in honors, AP, college and high school, Trinity, if you were at that meeting, you should most likely be participating in the ECHS program and maybe taking some dual enrollment courses. If you have a job, many colleges reward students who demonstrate that time management skill of being able to keep up your grades in high school as well as balance a job. If you are an avid volunteer or student athlete, there are many institutions that will give you money for things that you've already done. At the University of Pittsburgh, students can earn up to $28,000 for 4 years. Excuse me, but at every school, the dollar amount that they award for the specific, the different categories is different. For some schools, you can earn up to full tuition, room and board. For some, the amount varies, but it's well worth you creating that profile, and you go in and put your transcript that you have, and it can show you exactly how much money you are potentially going to earn from these institutions, which is really important. So once you have, you've narrowed down this list, you've made these comparisons, you've located some additional funds, it's time to kind of start thinking about, okay, where am I ready to apply, and how, and you might still have many, many questions. And a good person to speak with about this would be your college, your high school counselor, or other supports such as, the staff at School to Career, who can assist you with trying to make this decision. So that's kind of where to look. And then once you know kind of once you know where to search for these schools, and you're ready to make those comparisons. So maybe you have things like rankings, and now you're trying to whittle down that list even further. So some things for you to consider would be the size of the institution, and it's very, very wide variation. So my freshman year of college, I went to a small private Catholic school in Miami, Florida, and I had one class that was literally 6 students. It was in a conference room, which was really great in terms of making sure it was, easy to participate and have that dialogue with my classmates. And I've also had classes that were hundreds of students in that space. So really understanding what the average class size is, of course, different majors will impact that class size. But if you're looking for, in general, a smaller school and a smaller class size, you should be looking at an institution where the average class size is smaller. And then another thing is to understand the student to faculty ratio at a school. At the University of Pittsburgh, it's 14:1. So just knowing that information, although it's not going to necessarily say you're going to, be in a class with 14 students, but knowing that there's that smaller ratio should help with accessibilities to professors, to help you with building those relationships, and which will help you later on when you're looking to build your resume and maybe asking for letters of recommendations and things like that. And it'll also impact student resources in terms of potentially like tutoring size, tutoring availability, research availability, opportunities, things like that. Another thing, a big thing to think about is location. You are all in the city of Pittsburgh. If you want to stay local, there are many great institutions in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania alone. But if you're thinking of going a little bit further, one thing I always tell students to remember how you're going to get home. It is, when you're, for some students, when you're in high school, you're like, oh, I want to get really far away, but then you have to get back. Again, as I mentioned, I went to school in Miami, Florida. I'm from Philadelphia. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to be on the beach. The weather is perfect. And it truly was, except I realized, getting home for break was a significant expense for my family. And it just wasn't something that we necessarily prepared for. Another thing is access to transportation. If your school is located in an urban environment, you're likely to have access to public transportation. But if you're planning on going to school somewhere, more suburban or rural, you may need a car, or you might find that you're limited to only participating in opportunities on campus, and not really have the ability to get off campus as much as you would like. It will also impact your work and internship opportunities. The really great thing about Pitt is we say that the city is our campus. So when I was a Pitt student, I was able to do internships right in East Liberty, of course, at the local hospitals. It really does impact what you can study. I'm sorry, not what you can study. It impacts what internship and work opportunities you have. And then another thing is the cost of living. Most students don't live on campus for all 4 years of their undergraduate career. So just thinking about once you do decide to move off campus, where you're going to live. So rent in, North Carolina or even Pittsburgh is going to be very, very different than if you decide to go to Columbia and you are paying New York City rent, or if you want to go to one of the California state schools and you're paying LA rent or similar. It will definitely impact your experience. So thinking of that, not necessarily only where the school itself is located, but how that will impact you, not only financially, but your professional and experiential learning opportunities, and even your kind of outside of the classroom opportunities. Like, one great thing about being in the city of Pittsburgh is our home games for Pitt are played in Heinz Field. I'm not a big sports fan, so I won't even pretend that I'd fully take advantage of all that is here sports wise, but that was a really cool experience as a Pitt student, being able to be in a professional sports arena. And I also, when I was in school in Miami, I went to Miami Heat game, and that was fun. But for people who are really big sports fans, and if you go to a school that's not nearby those things, it could impact your experience. So thinking about location.
Ms. Khamara, I'm sorry to interrupt. Trinity, question in the chat.
Sorry, I cannot see the chat.
No. That's why I wanted to chime in. Trinity was wondering, what school did you go to before Pitt?
Oh, it was called Barry University. It's a
Barry University, you said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
One thing they're really known for is Shaquille O'Neal. He was doing his studies when we were doing our studies, so that got people really excited. But it is a really, really small school. And then, yeah, sure. Two other factors are environment, and then of course, one really big one is academic. So again, in thinking about the setting, where the school is located and the setting of the school will impact your overall experience. So the type of school we're thinking about, is it a 2-year institution where you be earning an associate's degree, or a 4-year institution where you're looking to earn your bachelor's, or does it have kind of a grad school association where you can do your whole study? So if you are looking for an advanced degree, if you're interested in being, a doctor or a lawyer or anything that requires beyond a 4-year degree, some people want to do their full, experience in one place. Some would like to break it up. If you're looking for a school with a specific religious association, again, I did mention I went to a Catholic school. There was mass. There were plenty of celebrations that many of the students took advantage of. That was not my religious association, but I know for students who that was really important for them, having that sense of community directly on campus, and knowing that that was integrated into the fabric of the institution itself really was a great fit for those students. And then thinking about, again, those extracurricular activities. So like I mentioned, like just having that access to the stadiums or just the cultural district and being able to go to plays was something that I really enjoyed as a Pitt student. And then the big thing is your academics. You most certainly should go to a school that has a good program for the major that you are looking to earn. So I did mention again, so I was originally a nursing major, and Barry did have a really strong program. And because of those class sizes, it was a good fit for me at that time. But once I realized I didn't want to be a nurse, the other programs that I was looking into, the school was not as well known for and didn't have the additional opportunities that I was looking for within that major. But I tell students, even if you don't want to come to the University of Pittsburgh, just make sure you're doing research on the school, that it has different opportunities if you do decide to change your mind. Over 50% of students change their major at least once in college. So sometimes it can really be a hassle to change your mind and have to change schools. And then the further along you are in your studies and earning credits, that can get much more complicated. And then if the school has any special requirements, make sure you're aware of those. And then again, if you're interested in something, a graduate or professional program, and you would like to, potentially earn that degree at the same institution you earn your undergrad, making sure the school has a good program for that as well. And then I touched on internship and co-op opportunities. At the University of Pittsburgh, we have something called the Internship Guarantee. And just being in a city, it was for me really easy to get internships at different organizations. And so just making sure you touch base with your school about kind of what students are doing to build their resume, to get that research experience, to get internship experience. Or if you are interested in engineering, asking about what co-op opportunities are available. Were there any other questions? Okay. So, and then we come to the costs, which on that sliding scale rating was one of the ones where we were not feeling so confident, and that's completely understandable. So one thing, making sure before we figure out how we're going to pay for school, figuring out what the actual cost of attendance is. So making sure you know what the tuition is of the school, but it's well beyond that. Additionally is the room and board aspect, making sure if you're not going to live on campus, you are factoring in things like the cost is going to take you to commute if the school doesn't offer transportation similar to Pitt with the Access Support Authority, and factoring in things like gas and car insurance if you're going to be driving, factoring in rent and bills if you're going to be living off campus, and making sure you're aware of kind of just like an average price for rent. Your meals, most students, even if you live on campus, you will get tired of eating your campus like local dining hall food. many schools like Pitt, there are other eateries on campus where you can use your meal plan for. But if you know for a fact that like you just got to have Chipotle every day or Chick-fil-A every day or Starbucks and $6 coffee, make sure you're budgeting for that as well, for the full 4 or 5 years for that experience. And then there are also some students who will like go all the way down to like budgeting for clothes and laundry and things like that. The Pitt, we do have a financial wellness center that will help students with budgeting, but making sure if you are aware of kind of what financial literacy resources are available at the school to help factor in as many of those, the total cost of attendance. So that could also include books. A lot of students don't really realize how expensive books can be. I had one book that was $375 and I had 5 classes. So I had 4 more books to pay for. So just thinking about that. And then if you need a new computer, you'll need to think about that cost as well. We talked a little bit about the different resources for financial aid. So there's FAFSA, which the application opens October 1st every single year. I know that School to Career, you all cover FAFSA, so I won't go too deep kind of into that. So making sure you complete that application for sure. And then are looking for additional scholarship opportunities. Look at your school first. So much money goes unclaimed. And then any organization that you're a part of, be it a religious organization or ask your job. You'd be surprised if you're working what tuition opportunities jobs offers, and they're coming up more now than ever. So that's really exciting. Being aware of grants, making sure you know the deadline for those grants. If you are a Pittsburgh public school student, make sure you're aware of your promise eligibility and what options exist. Even if you are not fully promise eligible, there are, in addition to CCAC, there are other promise partners where you can use your promise funding, even if you don't fully meet that initial criteria. And then looking into the Raise Me scholarship, making sure you complete your profile for that. So once you have that list down and you're all set there, then it's time for you to start getting connected with those schools, attend college fairs. Those are usually all throughout the year, but really college fairs tend to be heavy in fall semester. Take a tour. I'm really excited that most campuses are open, so you can take a college tour. It's one of the great ways to get a feel for campus. I came to visit Pitt in January and it was snowing and I still absolutely loved it. So I was like, okay, if I can be freezing and still see myself in this place, then I can really see myself here. I think it's a big impact. It has a big impact on students, seeing the residence halls and seeing where students are eating. It can really help you making that final decision. And then
I'm sorry to interrupt, just really quick. So first of all, I just want to say in the chat, Danielle had said that she's considering going to CCAC and then applying to a major university in her second year since she's not sure about her career choice. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that is an awesome idea. I took a gap year after 2 years at college. And it wasn't necessarily my choice. I'm going to put it that way, because I didn't know why I was at college. I was there because that was the expectation, instead of there being any real internal drive or motivation for me. So I think that's a great idea, and don't let anyone poo-poo that idea, because you're going to be taking a lot of your basic, what they call your gen eds, your general education courses anyway. There's no reason to pay big school top tier prices when you can, get them done at CCAC, as long as you check with the registrar that they'll transfer to the school you want to go to. So I think it's a great idea. And then the other thing I wanted to say about on-campus tours is I cannot back up what Ms. Khamara said powerfully enough. I was just telling Ms. Carla a few weeks ago, I think actually, that there was a school that I was positive I wanted to go to. And it was in North Carolina, and my mom and I flew down there, and it was, got out, it was beautiful, people seemed to be nice, there were Chick-fil-A's every quarter mile, it was great. And then I got on campus, and it wasn't the kind of thing that I would have thought of, but coming from Massachusetts, I literally said to myself, the grass is too green, it's freaking me out. And it was like, and it was just something about the vibe of the campus just didn't feel right to me. And I wouldn't have known that if I had not taken that tour. So some places it's, it can definitely be expensive to get down there. And if you can't, that's a thing, and that you just got to make the best decision you can. But whenever you can, if it's not inconvenient or if it's possible for you to do a tour, I absolutely recommend it. Sorry. Thank you.
No, of course. And I will say virtual tours are also available. And within the last 2 years, schools have really stepped up their virtual tours and really trying to show the full campus. I don't know if you will quite get this grass is too green, but you'll have more than just a schematic of the layout of the residence hall. Most schools now will actually take you inside a residence hall virtually, so you can try to get the best feel there. And then, yes, Danielle, there is absolutely nothing wrong with going to CCAC first or another community college. My husband's brother, so my brother-in-law, I talk to him all the time, and I try to get him to come talk to my PAC students all the time, because of all of us, he's the only one with zero debt. He paid off his home. I think he's doing well. We're all doing, great, and all have our degrees and things like that. But I'm always like, you did it the right way. He went to CCAC and then he came to Pitt Business. He still has a Pitt Business degree. And I think that was an absolutely great choice for him. And sometimes he would say, like that wasn't necessarily what he was thinking of doing when he was 18, wasn't his first choice. But now, that he's further along, in his 30s and had other responsibilities, like this was the best thing I could have done. So definitely a great choice. And that's certainly, what PAC was designed to do. We'll touch base a little bit more about that. But yes, like Jeremy mentioned, don't let anyone kind of give you a thumbs down about that, because later you'll most likely be happy that you made that decision. At least it's a great financial decision. I'll say that. And many colleges are now doing different partnerships with many four-year institutions are doing partnerships with community colleges, and recognizing that students and families are looking to save as much money as possible to take those gen eds, as Jeremy mentioned, and it's a much easier integration now, I'll say, than before. Oh, I'm sorry. So attend those virtual or in-person presentations. And then what you'll also find is many colleges have special events or personalized visits. Pitt offers one-on-one visits with students where you can connect with a counselor and a financial aid counselor and eat on campus and have a kind of more of a personalized experience. So that's something to ask the school. They may not offer it, but if they do, that's a great way for you to have that one-on-one experience at the college you're interested in. I don't know. And then another thing, so this is kind of more after you've completed your application or while you're in the process of completing your application. Just get to know who your counselor is. Most colleges have a staff member who's assigned either to your school or to your area, so your zip code, and they really do want to hear from you. And I say this especially if you are what many colleges would consider like a borderline student, like you don't quite meet those admissions requirements, but you have like shown demonstrated interest. So you visited, you have stayed connected, you kind of explained like why you want to go to a really specific school. Your counselor, like maybe you have life happens, like maybe something happened and it impacted your academics for maybe one semester or a year. I'm not saying, I'm not one to say like, tell people all of your business if you're not comfortable sharing. But if it is something you're comfortable sharing, your counselor would be your college counselor would be the one who would advocate on your behalf in the admissions decision process, if available. And then if you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with them, most your counselors want to hear from you. They want to build those connections and relationships with you. And then if you maybe you're not that interested in, being in those one-on-one meetings, but you still kind of want to see like what's happening at the school, follow interested schools on social media pages and websites, because that's where they post a lot of most up-to-date information, but also maybe just some fun things, like some things that are happening on campus that you to help you better see yourself there when you get there. And then many schools have transitioned to texting students. And not everyone's checking their email daily, even though that's the next point on here. I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage it, especially in the application and selection process. But it is easier to just, grab your phone and shoot a text message here and there. So if your school offers that and you are open to receiving text messages, that's a great way to stay connected as well. But in the application process and decision process, please make sure you're checking your email daily with any updates, and make sure you're not missing any deadlines, because there's usually money on the line attached to that.
Khamara,
So
one of the things that I always try to tell students, and I know I've told our kids, that they should have, when they're looking at applying for school, they should have a separate email account.
Yes.
So the one that you all use for coupons or free McDonald's, that is not the one you want your colleges to send the information to. So it should be like Trinity class 2024, or whatever, your graduating class is, and everything in that email account will be specifically for college. It would be your FAFSA, your FIA, your Pittsburgh Promise, your college applications. That's the only time you would use that account, because it is a lot. If you miss your student aid report, or if you have to update your FAFSA and you miss that because you've got, 50 junk emails coming through every day, you're not going to waste it. I'm not going to waste my time looking at that email account. So you want the one. And then we did this with my daughter. We shared the account in the family. So I had access to the Gmail, my husband had access, and Catrice. So if she missed something, we were still looking. So scholarships come through there, deadline dates. So you have someone else checking with you, because it is a huge responsibility to maintain all of that information and be a full-time student in high school. So, give yourself a little bit of a grace, but involve your parents. Get them excited about the process too. I thought I was going to school when Catrice was going through her process. The biggest thing is I would try, like if she got an acceptance letter, I would act as if I didn't see it until she saw it first. So I would be all excited knowing I read the email and it's like, she got accepted. And then I'm like, I can't tell her because it's her email. And if I didn't hear from her in an hour or two, it's like, you might want to check your email.
Like that's like having an awesome Christmas present for your kid back when they still believe in Santa.
Yeah.
You can't take any credit for it. It's like, oh yeah, Santa really worked hard for that present. That Santa must have stood in line for 3.5 hours in the cold.
Exactly. But involve your parents or a guardian, whomever, to share that with them, because it is a lot of information that you'll be getting. You'll be getting so much stuff from every single college. It gets overwhelming. So you want to have somebody to help you filter through that, and you don't want it in with your regular emails.
Yes. Another tip is do not use your high school email account. If you are going to, most schools will lock you out of that at some point. And things like the FAFSA, you need to renew that every year while you are enrolled in college. And then there are some scholarships that are renewable, but students need to just do like 1 or 2 simple things to make sure you're still having access. So like Ms. Carla said, definitely create that separate account, and then don't use your high school account, because you don't want to miss anything.
And when you do create that new account that's just for these sorts of emails, I don't care how funny or cool you think it is, make it boring. Make it first name, last name, or last name, first name, or last name, first initial. I had friends applying with the weirdest emails in high school. And I was like, yeah, sorry, friend. I don't think Skidmore is going to want Exotic Fairy 239 to be admitted to your. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, no, last name, first initial, nice and easy. You know, it shows that you take your image seriously, and it also shows that you're prepared for it and not just tossing whatever in. It's like when we talked about going into an interview with some questions or at least background information about the company you're interviewing for. It shows that you prepared. And this is a really easy, completely free way to show that you are prepared for the challenges ahead of you.
Definitely echo. We should go on the road, the three of us. Because I'm over here like echo, yes, all of
anytime, yes.
Yes.
Look, call us.
And then in terms of the application process, just make sure you're aware of what the requirements are at each school. Many schools, in light of the pandemic, then did transition to not requiring standardized testing, but that in and of itself is different at many schools. Some schools went test blind, some schools went test optional. Some schools completely eliminated the requirement for testing. So just make sure you know what the requirements are at those schools, and make sure you know those well in advance, because if you are looking to take a test, some schools did maintain testing for scholarship review. Make sure you have enough time to prepare for that standardized test. So be that SAT or ACT, and make sure you make time to retake them if you decide to. Pitt is test optional until 2023. More information to come beyond 2023, but just make sure students know what the requirements are at that school. Please make sure you know what the application cycle is. So some schools are early admission or early decision. Pitt is rolling admission. I always encourage students, just apply everywhere you are interested in early, preferably before Thanksgiving break. For at Pitt, our scholarship deadline is December 1st. Many schools have deadlines that are somewhere between November 15th and December 1st. So definitely wanting to make sure you get things done as early as possible, because that'll give you a chance to relax for the rest of your senior year. But also if you get started on those things maybe as soon as school starts in August, it gives you some time to not feel like you're, running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Make sure you know where to apply. Now more than ever, there are many options. So know what platform the schools you are interested in are located. Some schools will have their own application. Many schools are on the Common app. Some schools are on the Coalition app. So just make sure you know where you're applying and what requirements, and you have the accounts for each of those platforms and what is required, and then if any essays are required. So I did have a game prepared, but we are really tight on time. I'm going to run through the PAC portion of the presentation, and then if we have time, we can circle back and play Four Corners on Jamboard. So all of those things that we just discussed in this college search and selection process, PAC can assist you with. So the Pittsburgh Admissions Collaboration, or PAC program, is a two-part college access, college readiness program. The first part of the PAC of the PAC program is just college and career readiness. So we do offer bi-weekly PAC sessions. They are virtual. We were hoping to be in person this year, but like everywhere you go, there's a shortage on things and people, and this time it's a shortage on bus drivers. So we are an access program. We needed to create an environment where all students can access them and access us in our programming. And at this time, that continues to be virtual. So the PAC program is available to PPS students who are enrolled at Westinghouse, UPrep, Alderdice, and SciTech, and then select Investing Now participants. And if you all are interested in this program, you can participate as well. Students do need to have a 2.0 GPA minimum. And then we have bi-weekly PAC sessions where we cover the college search and selection process, where we help students complete college applications and check up on your status. We do verify that all of our seniors have completed their FAFSA application, and we send monthly opportunities for scholarships. We do cover budgeting. And last year, we even had a guest come in and talk to students about stocks and investing, because we see that students are investing younger and younger, and want to make sure you're equipped with that skill set as much as possible. We do explore various careers and majors, and talk to students about how, there are many careers that go with majors. You don't, just pick one thing and you just have to become that forever. We do goal setting and cover various life skills and personal wellness and mental health sessions as well. And as the asterisk mentions, transportation and food is provided when we are on campus. So although all of our PAC sessions are virtual this year, we will still be offering some in-person opportunities. Like last night, we had an in-person FAFSA workshop. We'll have another one in the spring. They just won't be busing, unfortunately, won't be provided for those. We will provide parking stickers for families who are interested in driving in. We have had over 266 students who participated in the PAC program. At one point, PAC did serve both middle school and high school, but over the past 2 years, we've only been in high schools. We see students mostly we have the most representation from seniors. And then as the pie chart shows, it kind of goes backwards from there. So 11th, 10th, and 9th. But we are, again, open to all 9th through 12th grade students. And then our PAC sessions are virtual. We're on Zoom. They're 1 hour long, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. We had our last PAC session of 2021. Cannot believe we're going into 2022. And we'll have, I believe, 8 more sessions for the remainder of the year, focusing on a wide variety of topics. So when we start in the new year, we'll be doing a lot of different career exploration and interview skills and resume building skills, and then talking about student life and internships, opportunities and research opportunities, go back into exploring some careers more in depth. And then in April, we will be offering an in-person opportunity at the end of the year to celebrate all of our students, even if they are not going through the PAC pathway, and just to connect. And that's where we kind of talk about what to do over the summer to prepare for either the remainder of high school. So for our students, we're going to 10th and 11th and 12th grade. And then for our seniors, really working with them to prepare them to transition to college. There are many benefits for students who participate in the PAC program. You get mentorship from current university students. So I am a Pitt alum and a current Pitt student, but my experience as a Pitt student many, many years ago is very different than what our current Pitt students are experiencing. So they can talk to you all about what they encountered going through the application and college selection process, why they ultimately chose Pitt. We do have Dream Team mentors who are transfer students, and so they can talk about their experience at other institutions as well. You get access to college preparation programs and career fairs and workshops. We have several panels where you can interact with various professionals. We do offer students tickets to participate in local events. So in the past, we've done a Pitt football game. We've done the MPT Still City Step Show. We've done the nativity events around campus around the holidays. We do offer seniors only sessions, again, where we're making sure you complete your FAFSA, where we are making sure you've added the schools that you are interested in to your Promise portal, that if you are planning on attending college, which most of our students are, that you've completed a college application. And then CCAC hosts a session as well for students who are interested in going to CCAC. And then we do have leadership opportunities, our PAC student ambassador role, where students can earn Pitt swag, and it's a resume building opportunity for you to represent PAC at your school. Again, this pathway is from PPS to CCAC to Pitt, with some exceptions where we are integrating and allowing students from select community partnerships and other programs to participate in PAC. once a student has decided they want to go through the PAC pathway, meaning that they'll go to CCAC for 1 or 2 years and then they'll transition to the University of Pittsburgh, they're guaranteed admission to Pitt. We give them support from high school until they attain their degree. We pay for their books for all 4 years and give them a Pitt ID, which is similar to what Pitt students get even while they're at CCAC, which gives them the same access to the Port Authority bus system. And they can attend free social and cultural events. And myself and our other case manager, we will do things like attend advising appointments with students, make sure they are selecting those classes that are going to transfer to the University of Pittsburgh, and going to financial aid advising appointments with them as well. So our PAC application is still open. So if you're interested in applying, you can take a picture of this QR code or go type in upit.me/PAC, and that will bring you to our PAC application. Again, we are still accepting students, and if you are interested in, just coming to our sessions, you can do that. If you're interested in the pathway, you are welcome to attend as well. But students do not have to be committed to going to CCAC and then to Pitt to come and learn about our PAC programming and take advantage of those benefits. All right. Did anyone
But I
have?
think it would be great. I mean, I don't know, Danielle, if you are familiar with PAC. I know we've had Ms. Turner here before, but since you have decided to go to CCAC, and transportation could be free, I think this would be a great place for you to get connected this year to help you with the transition process from high school. And so you already know her, you already, familiar with Pitt and their programming. I think it would be a great opportunity to have that additional mentoring over the next couple of years. So you're at Alderdice, just a thought, just throwing it out there. I think that would be really great. Because CCAC does not give out bus passes either.
Or free books.
Or free book. Yeah, the books. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think all schools should switch to online textbooks, and yeah, it's
still
expensive.
love a highlighter. I still love.
You can highlight on a laptop.
I do, but
Yeah.
I still will print out a couple. Well, funny story. And I definitely, if you all have any questions, please interrupt me. But my junior and senior year of college, I did not pay for any books, and it was because I could not afford to pay for any books. But Pitt has Pitt print credit where students could print, I think it was 1,200 pages per semester. And all of our textbooks, all professors are required to have them, at least one copy in the library. So I took my 1,200 print credit pages to the library. It got me some binders and a 3-hole puncher, and printed all of my textbooks. I did not sell those, so I did not get any profit from those, but that was what helped me get my text. But yes, I really do wish they were online when I was a student.
I was taking a class and this person came up to me, and I mean, it was like in the last 6 years or so, and they wanted to take a picture of my book so they would have it on their phone. So people get around paying for it. I'm like, you're going to take a picture? And she's like, I'm not going to be able to buy this book for another, 2 weeks. So what we needed to cover in that time, she took pictures. I'm like, you're going to blow your phone completely up with all these images. But she took pictures of my book. I'm thinking I should be charging her per snap. But it's expensive, even for adults. It's expensive to purchase those textbooks. But Danielle, there are places where you can buy books. We can Amazon and check. There's a bunch of sites. Catrice has been in school. This is our second year. We have not paid full price for not one of her books. Ohio State does everything online. So you could pay for their online textbooks, which, is an option, and you can highlight and you can print and do everything that you need to take notes. But it is nice to have an actual piece of paper in your hand sometime. But definitely call me when you get there so we can make sure you're not paying full price. Do not walk in a bookstore and walk out with a brand new book, because even if they tell you, oh, you can sell it back to us, you are not going to get nearly what you paid for it. So keep that in mind when you're buying books. Just don't wait until the last minute.
And most professors, the first couple of weeks, they'll do that scan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, a lot of them will just tell you where, it's like, this is where it's least expensive, especially, that freshman year.
The library, my favorite
Yes.
place.
Yes. Hang out in the library. That's going to be your favorite place.
So did anyone have any questions for me? I did put my email in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. But again, thank you guys so much for having me. I always enjoy seeing you all in person. We're at the same fairs, but also seeing you virtually and connecting and catching up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Take care of that precious little girl.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to